scraps that I've had in the freezer. And I have put them in my roaster. Put some herbs, a little salt, a little pepper. And today we are making vegetable broth. Happy Friday. Welcome to my kitchen. We're making bread and canning. So we're going to start out by adding 1/4 cup of avocado and local honey to 2 cups of warm water. To that we're going to sprinkle in a heaping tablespoon of yeast, and we are not going to stir that. We're just going to let it sit out for 10 minutes till it kind of bubbles up. So we're going to cover it and we'll come back and check it in 10 minutes. So to the wonderful smell, that brothy yeast, we are going to add a tablespoon of salt. I am using pink Himalayan. I'm going to put it right in the middle. I'm just going to turn my spoon over. Give it a little stir. Now we're ready for the flour. So I'm going to start off by putting 5 cups of flour in, and then we'll take a look at it after that and see what it needs. So our 5 cups of flour are in, and now we're going to turn it on the lowest speed. And I'll come back in a bit and show you what it looks like. So after about 2 minutes, this is what it looks like. And so we're going to go ahead and add another cup of flour. So that makes 6 cups total. I'll come back in a bit and show you what she looks like. So this is the consistency you're looking for. You do not want your bread sticking to the pan, and you barely want it to stick to your fingers. So my bread's done kneading my KitchenAid, and so now what we're going to do is get it ready to cover it and put it in the oven. So I'm just going to add a little bit of avocado oil to my hands, let it drip down in the bread, and then I'm going to try to get all of that bread off of the bowl. And just take that oil, rub it all over your dough ball, form it into a ball. We're going to put it down in that bowl. I'm going to take a damp cloth, the one that I covered it with earlier, just put a little bit of water on it, dampen it, and then we're going to cover it and put it in the oven for an hour. So my cloth's a little damp. I'm going to cover it up. I turned my oven on 350 literally for 20-30 seconds just to break the chill off the oven, and now I have my oven light on, so the oven is not on, and we're going to stick this in the oven. And that's just going to go covered in the oven. Alexa, set an hour timer. We're going to leave that covered in the oven for an hour. You want it to double in size. If you peek in on it and it's doubled in size, you certainly don't have to go the full hour. It usually takes an hour. In my house, we keep our house a little cooler. It all depends on your house, just the climate, but mine does take an hour. When you're adding that last cup of flour, I can tell by looking at it how much I need. On that last cup, you may want to do a 1/4 cup each time until you get to the consistency that I had, to where it's not sticking to the bowl and not tacky, not sticking to your fingers. So I'll be back with you in an hour. So while our bread is rising, I am going to be canning beans today. I did chicken broth earlier, and I'm out of using my last bag of black beans for dinner. So I need black beans, but I also want to do some chili beans. So we're going to be doing a combination, canning a combination of different beans today. I'm just going to give these beans a good rinse. That's it, just a rinse. Now as I'm putting them in the jar, I will look at them and see if any of them are bad and make sure they don't make it in a jar. I'm gonna do a couple of jars of black beans, and then the rest of these black beans are gonna be made into chili beans to do for chili. Let's check in on our vegetable broth. Coming along nicely, but not quite ready. I'm gonna let it go for about another hour. So we eat a lot of black beans. We do a lot of bowls, whether it's chicken bowls, beef bowls, with veggies and rice and beans. Just a quick meal that Kelly and I both enjoy. We both like dried beans. So in each one of these jars, I am going to add a half a cup of beans. And it's super simple. I don't pre-soak, pre-bake. I do rinse mine. And then you can add whatever seasonings you like. I'm just going to add salt because I will season my beans as I cook them. And then we are going to add each headspace of water in each can, each jar, sorry. And then we are going to pressure can these for 75 minutes. So we ended up with 16 jars, and so the next step is personal preference. Some people might not like the way I do it, but that's okay. When you're canning, you always want to make sure that hot jars go in hot water or cold jars go in cold water. So I rinse my beans ahead of time, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to fill these jars with like tap water, cold water. And then we're going to start off with cold water in our pressure can. Cold goes in cold, hot goes in hot. And once we do that, I'll come back and show you what we have. Okay, so that's our water, and I'll put water in all of our jars. Typically, any bad beans will float to the top. I'll just take those out. And then what we're going to do now, I went right up to the rim of each jar with the water, and now we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt in each one. Now, they will require a little more than a half a teaspoon of salt, but when I go to cook them, take them out of the jar and cook them for however I'm going to do them, I will add extra seasoning at that time, but right now we're just going to add a half a teaspoon to each. And then once I'm done with that, I am going to debubble my jars, clean my rims, and I ran out of salt. Be right back. I'm going to clean my rims and debubble my jars. And we're going to get those jars in the pressure canner. Just gonna put on the sides, get all of those bubbles out of each jar. This helps with your seal. I love beans so much I could eat them actually every day of my life. There is not a bean that I do not like. I had never had 15 bean soup till I married my husband, so I was 30 years old, 30 some years old, I think 34, 35 years old, before I had 15 bean soup. If you haven't tried it, give it a try, it's awesome. we're just wiping the rims of our jars with vinegar to ensure a good seal. Speaking of seals, I'm just curious to see what type of lids do you use. I bought mine on Amazon and they came highly recommended, although I have had quite a few seals that have not worked. So this is what they look like. Canning on them. And they have a really good seal, and it appears, and I've looked at all of them, and I try to be very conscious when I'm adding them that there are none that appear to have that seal messed up, but yet I still end up losing. When I say losing, I just stick them in the refrigerator and I use them later. Like this morning, I did chicken broth and only got 3 jars out of the carcasses that I had. And I had to put one in the refrigerator because the seal did not work. So, just curious. I don't boil my lids before I put them on, so just curious to see what type of lid you actually use. So for my largemouth lids, I usually just bought a big stock of Ball, and I think I'm really happy with the way they seal. I don't know that I've had any that have not sealed with those. Okay, I'm gonna get my rims on and finger tight, and get them in the canner. So we are stacked too high, and now we are going to put the lid on. So, puppy's having his nails done if y'all can't hear. So my lid's on. I'm going to show you something. I just got done using this lid. I'm going to take it over to the window, look through this hole. And I can see straight through, so we know we're good. My seal looks good. Put this lid on. Now, with my elevation, I'm looking for 10 pounds of pressure. So, cold jars, cold water. I'm going to turn my burner on high. Okay? And I'm going to let it do its thing. When it's ready for me to start timing, this is going to pop up. When this pops up, I will already have seen a good consistent amount of steam, 8 to 10 minutes coming out of here. When this pops, we're going to put our weight on the top, and at that point, we're going to time for 75 minutes. So our timer went off, and our bread has more than doubled in size. I cleaned my work surface. I'm going to get all the air out. I'm going to shake them. So I'm making 2 loaves. I'm going to roll it to get the rest of that air out.
This is the part where if you don't want everything screwed up, you come help.
My husband said this is the part with my green stalk that if I don't want everything screwed up, I have to go help. just need to get these two in the oven first. So once I have it rolled out, I'll turn it over, stretch it out. Give it a roll. Pan with parchment paper. And it goes. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. I'm going to put them back in the oven with the light on, oven off, light on. We're going to let them rise for another hour, and then we are going to bake them on 350 for 30 minutes. I better go help with the green stuff. Getting ready to pop up. And she's up. Put our weight on. Gonna come up to 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. And we'll start the timer at 75 minutes at that time. So we are at 10 pounds of pressure. So we are going to turn our knob one dot below the low. That should keep this knob at 10 pounds of pressure. Alexa, set a 75-minute timer. I just finished the shepherd's pie. I made 2. Those are ready. So the timer's going off. It's time to take the bread out the oven. They're beautiful. We'll do one at a time. And get it out. Put it onto a cooling rack. We can add some butter. So although it's very tempting to wait, you do need to let it cool off before you cut into it. One loaves for us, one loaves for my son, and then I will be making my daughter's fresh on Sunday morning. Thanks for cooking in my kitchen.
I see ya.
Good job, buddy.